The Supreme Court's term will extend into July because of coronavirus-related delays in holding arguments. The court issued 2 rulings today. It said the travel website Booking.com can trademark its name, and the High Court struck down Montana's ban on state aid to religious school students. There are still some other big decisions we're awaiting. For more on that, let's bring in CBS News Digital reporter Melissa Quinn. Hi, Melissa. What are some of the Supreme Court's big upcoming cases?
So we have 8 opinions that we're awaiting in all. 2 of them are in those very high-profile blockbuster disputes over the subpoenas from congressional Democrats and the Manhattan District Attorney for President Trump's tax returns. We're also awaiting an opinion on a big case over the Trump administration's broad exemptions to employers who are looking to opt out from Obamacare's contraceptive mandate. And the other 2 that we're very closely watching are involving faithless electors and the Electoral College. Like you said, we're headed into July. We're still awaiting word from the court on when the next day that we'll get those opinions will be.
Well, so far this term, some of the most significant cases were decided with the more liberal justices in the majority. In several cases, they've also been joined by Chief Justice John Roberts. How significant is that?
Well, the Chief Justice certainly now sits at the center of the court, and that's a role that Justice Anthony Kennedy definitely occupied before he retired in 2018. I think it's important to remember 2 things about the Chief, and obviously we don't know his thinking in some of these more blockbuster rulings that we've seen, but this is someone who really values the integrity of the Supreme Court as an institution and really values the independence of the Supreme Court as well. It could be that in deciding to rule with the liberal wing of the bench and striking down Louisiana's abortion regulation, for example, or blocking the Trump administration's effort to rescind the DACA program, that the Chief Justice may have been signaling that, look, just because this is a Supreme Court with a 5-4 conservative majority does not necessarily mean that rulings in these very contentious cases are going to come down along those lines. But remember, we still have 8 opinions left to come. Those are going to be really closely watched. Those will likely come down along 5-4 lines as well, and we very well could see the Chief Justice go the other way in joining his conservative colleagues in those decisions.
Well, President Trump has suggested that he would release a new list of potential Supreme Court nominees. He said that just after the Supreme Court rebuffed the administration's attempt to roll back DACA. He's already nominated 2 justices to the High Court. His first list came about in an unconventional way. Remind us, how did that come together, and how are people on that list actually vetted?
Yeah, if you remember way back in 2016, following the death of Justice Antonin Scalia, the president was really wise in seeking advice from the Heritage Foundation and the Federalist Society, very well-regarded conservative organizations, in putting together what was at the time an initial list of 11 potential Supreme Court nominees. This was basically the president's way of signaling to kind of wary conservative voters that he would nominate jurists who are going to be conservative and who are going to be originalists and textualists, just like Justice Scalia was. He succeeded in doing that, largely with Justices Kavanaugh and Gorsuch. Conservatives have been fairly pleased with his picks. And in vetting the justices, or these prospective justices, I should say, the Heritage Foundation and the Federalist Society really prioritized judges who had served on the federal courts of appeals and state high courts, state Supreme Courts, who were originalists and textualists in their jurisprudence. That played a huge role in really motivating conservative voters to head to the polls in 2016 and also get President Trump elected.
All right, we'll see if that next list comes out soon. Melissa Quinn for us. Melissa, thank you very much.
Thank you.